they thought. So I want to bring in our special guest here this hour from Polk County, the great state of Florida, Grady Judd. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Live Now from Fox. We really appreciate it.
Mike, it's my honor to be with you today.
Thank you so much. Well, first off, can you first just tell us, when you saw that the terrible situation unfold, what were your first thoughts?
Well, I was crushed and I was heartbroken because once again, we've had an active shooter go into, this time an elementary school, and massacre babies, the future of our country. The most important thing to us in the entire world are our children. And it happened again. And then immediately, just like the rest of the nation and law enforcement officers, what happened and how did it happen? And I think we're still working to try to figure that out at this time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as we hear this information and really a timeline of events that has rolled out from this investigation as it stands right now, and hearing that there was law enforcement members that were inside of that hallway, and there were still 911 calls being put out saying, please help, there is still people here that need help. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm angry. I'm very angry. In fact, I suggest there's still more that we don't know than we do know. But I'm confident that either the door was left unlocked, it was propped open, or it failed to shut completely. He walked in without anyone there to stop him. And once he got in, he was shooting. And he went into classrooms and he slaughtered babies. And I'm just crushed about that. I'm also confident that it was at least an hour before a SWAT team went in and neutralized the threat. And that was 59 minutes and 59 seconds too long. You know, when somebody's an active shooter, they don't get to pull it back to a hostage situation or a barricade situation. Once an active shooter, always an active shooter. Because even though they've paused or quit shooting, you've got people in there that are injured and potentially bleeding out, and you can't have that. You've got to rush to the threat and neutralize it immediately. And that's what we train for in the state of Florida, and specifically here. You know, our epiphany was with the Marjory Stoneman Douglas shooting. I'm on that commission, and we did a deep dive and saw a lot of problems and a lot of mistakes, and we've all learned from them. And we've also studied Virginia Tech and Sandy Hook and Columbine. And at the end of the day, we've got to all do better. And it starts with the community. If you see something, hear something, say something, because we need an intervention before they get to the school. But if they get to the school, we need several well-trained individuals there with a firearm to stop the threat. And like I say in Polk County vernacular, that's to shoot them graveyard dead before they get to the children, if there's any possible way to do that.
And Sheriff, how do you kind of try to mainstream this a way of thinking for all law enforcement across the country? If, God forbid, something happens in a county or a neighborhood that police have to respond to, how do you get that training to everybody and show them those results that you were part of these the different investigations, and really thinking? How do you get that really all the way out there so that they could be the best at what they can be when they get there?
Well, professional agencies train and they train and they train and they reinforce. It's not a normal human reaction to rush into gunfire. You have to train to push yourself into that. No one wants to be injured. But you call law enforcement officers and you expect us to stand in the gap between good and evil. And we will, and we do every day. But understand that one gun on campus is better than none, two's better than one, and three's better than two. And that's what we have to work toward. We have to have a universal understanding, but there has to be resources and equipment and training. And traditionally, when you get to your smaller agencies, they just can't afford the training and the resources. But some of it is as simple as getting the schools on board just to lock the dadgum doors and keep them locked and have single points of entry. So we have to have multiple layers, because the last best chance is to stop them in the parking lot before they get into the school. But we want to identify them long before they ever show up at the school and stop them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And lastly, on this subject, as we wait to hear more from this investigation, but at this moment, when you hear the reports there of the police there that were just holding out in the hallways there and outside, and hearing the cries for parents that were outside pleading with them to try to do something, can you maybe just describe, if, God forbid, a tragedy like this happened in Polk County, and what the response would be from law enforcement there at that critical time?
Certainly, we train and we train and we train, and we expect our law enforcement officers to go in. And that's what they would do. For example, in Polk County, if the shooting happened inside a city instead of the unincorporated area, we would all be dispatched to back up that police department. Not just me, but other law enforcement agencies. I've got over 1,000 deputies that work with me, but we would charge in and deal with that. If the agency that called for our assistance wasn't following best practices, wasn't charging in, then as the elected sheriff of the county, the constitutional officer of the state, I would take over and rush in and do what's right. I don't think that would be necessary in our county. We train together. We meet together. We do all of this safety training together, because we recognize how important it is to keep not only our children safe, but our business safe as well. So at the end of the day, it's going to take us all working together. First and foremost, help us find the person long before they show up. If you see something, hear something, say something, we'll go and do an intervention. If it's no big deal, it's no harm, no foul, but it's the opportunity. But we will rush in. We will rush in and shoot them so much you can read the New York Times through them. If they're threatening us, our children, or anyone with a firearm, that's just a guarantee.
And I think, as you say that, that's what a lot of people would hope there, if their child was inside of a classroom where somebody was trying to do definitely a lot of harm. All right. Sheriff, I want to also maybe just talk about, while we have this time together, because we feature so many of your news conferences here on LiveNOW from Fox. Because every time you come out, there is always, a big story happening there in Polk County, but you have a way of doing a news conference that gets a lot of people continuing to watch. We always show it from beginning to end, and you really see that constant number of people continuing to see what you're going to say next. So maybe can you describe some of the way you approach a news conference and really get that attention, not only from the media, but from people in the public?
Certainly, it's my duty and responsibility to report to the people that I work for, and that's the community that I love, what we're doing and how we're keeping them safe. So I like to have a conversation as if we're sitting on their back porch with a cold glass of iced tea, or maybe even a beer on Saturday afternoon. So I just discuss it with them and talk with them like I'm talking to my new best friend. At the end of the day, it's just communicating and letting people know the truth. And when we have a breaking event, I tell all the news media, and we put it out on social media. Look, this is the accurate information as we understand it now. It's all subject to change, because the initial information that we all hear is never going to be accurate. So at the end of the day, it's just my desire to want to keep my community informed, because with trust comes the community trusting you back. We're able to reduce crime, and it's working. Our crime rate here in this county is at a 50-year low. That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, that really, really is. And you continue to do great work there in Polk County, and it really shows not only the way that you do these news conferences, but like you just said, with the number of crime that is down. So Sheriff Grady Judd out of Polk County, thank you so much for giving us insight, not only on the terrible school shooting, but the investigation as well, and just really talking candidly as a police enforcement official. We appreciate it.
Mike, it's my honor to be with you today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.
Yes, us too, right here. We appreciate it, as always. Our friend right here of Live Now from Fox, Sheriff Grady Judd. Once again, we appreciate that. All right, everybody, we do have some breaking news that we want to bring.